That's funny. Hello, I think we'll be thriving tonight. I mean, it's just like right then and there. Today is May. Oh, Cinco de Mayo. Still Cinco de Mayo today. Is it the 5th still? Yeah. Man, it seems like 45 days long, Cinco de Mayo. What can I say? Welcome everyone. Tonight is about the, what is it though? Wonder of Mother Nature. And so I'm gonna share with you a history, a story, my story of how I came to understanding this is so much easier than I made it up to be. How many like the idea of just how many have heard of like hacking it? You know, what's the hack, the life hacks and all that stuff. How many have seen the little, like, I don't do the TikTok thing, I do the reels, and they go, here's what they don't want you to know about your phone. If you go click, 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 click here, it does this for you. I mean, I found all kinds of things like how you put degrees in. Anyone on your phone where if you put down over the and then degree comes up with like, yeah, anybody, I degree this, I degree that, here, degree. Anyway, so that's kind of be what tonight's going to be about, only I'll say it this way and I'll clean up. I wouldn't have given this to you except that my Word Made Flesh and my Word Made Flesh version 2 brand neutral is out, because now I can refer you to that while I'm sharing with you, oh, here's a way to make it simple to move forward. So how many of you, while we're here, most of you have been on before. Thank you for being on. Anyone new, thank you for being on. Please vote victory. Yes, vote victory. Yes. And the way I do it, and here's what it's not. How many like vote victory? Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. All right. Mini one on that one. All right. And see perfection. I am my own. Why? Because I'm going to show you a way to walk free into what? I'm going to show you a way to resolve issues into what? So how many like the into what thing? Anyone? How many like that? Oh, I'm doing supplements so that I don't take forever to poop or whatever. Excuse me. But how many know I'm constipated, so I'm doing supplements for that, you know, like Smooth Move or Lower Bowel Tonic or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I get it. That's allopathic. It's not wrong. How many know you need it? If you need a supplement to go poo, great. But how many get there's something else going on? Anyone? And so anyway, I'll give some of my, I've got my notes here. Very seldom do I make notes. So I made them tonight. So it's a very special night. So tonight is all about my discovery of shifting from this for that, this supplement for that, this remedy for that, this adjustment for that, into a whole new way to play the game. Okay. So into restoring, revising, reversing, upgrading. How many like it again? How many like, oh, I'm doing like oils. I'm smelling an oil, and the medical model and the compliance of our laws say you cannot say that this herb or this supplement or this oil takes disease away. I'm glad, because that's not what it does. It restores something. And how many, most of you have played with me before, you already got that one. I'm going to show you now just a way to make it really simple. How many know, and I got my notes, I'm not going to go by, it's hilarious. So how many get that, all right, before maybe you got into the system, how many found that you were just cruising along in life, like things got easy? Anyone? Did anybody have something where all of a sudden, hey, things are kind of working out? How many got nervous? How many got, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? I mean, things are going too well, cancel clear. All right. Anyone? How many been sorting by something's going to happen? Anyone? Even our medical model, our educational model, all the other models out there are based on the fall from grace, built by the language of Babel. Want, need, should, can't, try, maybe kind of this, that, these, them, they, those, whatever. You get their separation. So now we're at a point now where we can make life easy, or we can engage ease in life. How many like that? How many get make life easy means a little human is going to do something. What if life's already easy? Yeah, how many would like to watch your neighbor, hopefully on the far side of their property, plant bamboo? How many have ever seen this happen, where they plant bamboo? They didn't need to make bamboo happen. Pretty soon they have to move their house. Anyone? And they come in and they have it professionally eradicated. Good luck. So what if grace is like bamboo? All you have to do is touch it and stay. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So I way back been involved in natural health for since the 70s, whatever that is. And actually way before that, 67, 68, 60, in 1968, I started working at the A.M. Todd Company, which is the largest handler of peppermint, spearmint, and centrata in the world. And that's where I worked during college all day long. Hello, I can smell. Okay. So I was involved in especially essential oils at that point. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew if we were having a party and I went around and had, touched the back of their tongue with peppermint oil or put it on their third eye, they'd be going, they would change their consciousness. But put it all over the back of their neck. Wow. And then I'd say, put this on your hands and go to the bathroom. And they didn't do that because they knew better than that. All right. Especially if it was guys. So all this time, my mentors, every one of them, I cherish every person who taught me the best of what they had. Dr. Michael Dickens, wow. Hannah Kroger, wow. Dr. John Christopher, what a plethora. Bernard Jensen, all these different people. Dr. John Ray taught me about electronics and a bunch of other stuff. So I now see everyone was giving me Edward Bach Flower Remedies. If you've done anything, here he has the 12 nosodes, and then he comes along and he goes, and he pushes that aside, gives it to somebody, and he goes and starts finding flower essences. I'm going to get that. And so he comes up with a disease and he has to walk around and find that, or a symptom really. And he has to, a terrible symptom. He has to go find a particular flower, like mimulus or whatever. And all of a sudden, and it resolves it. Hello. Do you get all this blessing from our beloved Mother Nature to let us know that whatever you come up with, it's a contraction. Mother Nature immediately creates grows an herb or a plant, whatever it is, to restore, not to heal what's wrong, is to relieve that into a new state. So how many like the idea from here forward, you become made new, and then made new, and then made new, and then made new? And I understand, I see you. Many of you are, yeah. And I'm going to love the idea of, so what does it mean to be made new? I'm going to address this now. This is Mother Nature speaking. Hello, I'm Mother Nature. Hello. And I'd like to share with you about, all right, when you're taking enzymes, I'm doing pretty good, actually. When I might need to take some more, just so I get my voice up there. I usually pull my shorts up a little bit so I can talk a little bit higher. So Mother Nature, when you're taking enzymes, you're not just digesting food. I can't do it with your laughing, Victoria. No, wait. When you're not just digesting food. Cynthia, what are you going to start? All right. Yeah, I got it. I won't talk that way, but I'm going to lose it in a minute. So I'm going to start laughing. So do you get enzymes? Oh, they digest food. Yeah, they do that. And HCl, hydrochloric acid. When you have burping half an hour after you eat, that means you need HCl. Well, maybe the book is all about, if that's going on, here's the question, here's the resolution. But let's imagine that once we reverse the curse counterclockwise, the mortal coil, and this is just, what I'm adding to the game is so different than what maybe, in my experience, what I didn't get in all my other mentorships and all the other stuff that I was with. So I recommit to playing 125%. I choose to make this fun and easy. I woke up imagination activation by studying Neville. Somebody would come in, I say, well, now that this is resolved, and they would tell me everything they did to resolve it. They'd go out. Now it's been a year, 3 years, 5 years, and I'd start writing down, what was the first thing you did to give yourself this, instead of coaching them? Well, I did this, and then I did that, and then I did that, and I forgave my mom, and then I did that, and I changed my job, and then I had this session, and they would always come through the moment of now. And when I use nutrition to support their positive, restored life. How many understand, like a plant? How many have ever had a plant, or you picked up a plant from a neighbor who said, I kill plants, and they did. And how many have ever seen a plant that looked completely dead, no green on it at all, and could I take this? And then the person comes over to their house and they see this beautiful Chevrolet or whatever it is. And, where'd you get that? It's yours. How many know I just watered it? and loved it. Put a little bit of stuff in there, and here I got a Chefalera now. And by the way, Chefaleras at night go, oh. Thought I'd share that. If you have a Chefalera right by your bed, somebody was moving, they brought it into my bedroom. All night long, the Chefalera goes, oh. But I was wide awake many times going, what was that? Oh. I thought I'd share that. I thought I'd Chefalera that. All right. So now, bless me. So I used to, way back, I started doing body electronics. And so this is fresh and raw food, enzymes, minerals. We're doing body electronics. Now, at that point, I have a full health food store. And how many have ever, you people come in, this is the best product there is. They come in the next week, this was the best product there is. Next week, this is the best product there is. Next week, this is the best product. Come on. And it is. So they usually, have 9,000 bottles of stuff at home. And what's the new stuff? And I'll share with you just real quick. And this is so you can get what my life was like, or what it was like being with me. So get back from John Ray class in body electronics. I'm shopping at 1 o'clock in the morning. 2 people down at the end of the aisle, my spiritual team members, husband and wife team, in the same meditation group at that point, whatever it was. And I see them way down there. Hey, so I walk, hurry up, walk down, walk down around the corner, and there's their buggy. So I go wait by the men's and women's bathroom. Long story short, they don't come out at all, ever. They left. They went, when I finally saw them a week later, I said, where'd you go? We knew that you were going to shove something else down our throats or up our butts or whatever, enema or whatever, or colonic or whatever. And so we're going to let you digest this for a while before you, just assimilate. Anyone else have people run from you at the grocery store? No, thank you. Well, this is a 12-step program on no. All right. So now as we begin to move along, I finally figured out or was taught or learned or whatever, comparative muscle testing. So I took all the people that were doing fresh and raw minerals, high level minerals, high fresh and raw foods, all that kind of stuff. And we brought them all into the health food store and we started doing muscle testing. So we go through we used a lot of niacin back there. We went through all the niacins, 1 niacin tested strong on those who were way upscale, got an eye color change, completely changed their life. Only 1 niacin tested strong. I went to yourself. Why have all this? I could private label that and have the best one. After that, could I sell somebody else's niacin? No. I'm going to get that. And so we did the same with pantothenic acid. We did the same with enzymes. We did the same with all kinds of stuff where if less than 10% of the store was going, in other words, if I took something else other than those things, the 10%, people would be held down to a lower level of vibration. Anyone? I mean, I'm talking about. How many have ever taken something that held you down? You may not didn't know it, but how many changed it or forgot doing it and you felt great? Anyone? All right. So I went from 1,000 products to like 30. You know how much easier it is to manage 30 products? Serious. And I can go back, and I got a whole plethora of, are you not a health food store? You've got spices. I can work with all that stuff. All right. So once we got comparative muscle testing, went into private label, and then iridology. I studied iridology with Jensen. I was really good at it right away. And people would come in feeling really great and walk out sick, holding their back, ashen gray. Because I read what was wrong with them, because that's what I was taught how to do. And I'm talking a couple months in, I finally said, I'm not doing that anymore. So thank God I started asking them questions instead of telling them. And that's when I began to realize thought were an emotional pattern. That's where I had my experience of people going through, like having a radii solaris, left brain, right eye, young man. And was in acquired mental speech. And radii solaris is a genetic pattern. It doesn't change, was what I was taught and believed. And I said, do you have a difficult time putting your own thoughts, left brain, right eye, into words verbally? And he goes, yeah, I'm dyslexic. So I was dyslexic at the time, and I went to write on his chart dyslexic, and I couldn't spell dyslexic. So I asked the dyslexic how to spell dyslexic, which is not a good idea. And he goes, or he got emotional. I said, breathe, feel it. That's what I do. And he went back to a memory of his dad calling him stupid because he was dyslexic. And he went through the whole memory and forgave his dad. And I went back to look in his eye, and that black radial furrow in his eye was now pure, straight blue fiber in a blue eye. And I sat there for it seemed like an eon of time going, what I just saw completely changes everything I've just learned. So how many are getting, oh, okay, so maybe adding to where we are now, thought, word, and emotional patterns are senior. As we think in our heart, so are we. It's not as we supplement in our body, so are we. How many like the idea? And emoto, you know, water, I love you, I bless you, thank you. Supplements, I love you, I bless you, thank you. Sleeping partner, I love you, I bless you, I thank you. Snoring sleeping partner, it's even hard to say. I love you, I bless you, thank you, whatever. How many get, maybe we could start doing the air. Oh, air, I love you, I bless you, thank you. Yes, media. All right, I love you, I bless you, thank you. Notice a little hesitation, I recommit to playing 125. So how many get, all right, so now fast forward again. So then in iridology, I started to call it iridology and thought. So now when I see the eyes, and I'm reading eyes, I'm reading a lot of eyes, sometimes 30 in a sitting, getting people ready for body electronics. So they, you know, I do 30 pairs of eyes, not 30 eyes, which would be 15 people, 30 people. All right. So what and eventually I woke it up into bio-optic holography. I'm speed rapping right now. So just listen fast until I can get you to what we're really doing tonight. So I started to realize that when I looked at an eye, there's lymphatic rosary. I realized those are a bunch of icons returning. So I had this thing called lymph flow way back. This is something Victoria would have done way back. And I'm going to have Victoria share and Cynthia share from Victoria back in the 1800s, actually no, in the 80s, late 80s, 90s. And then Cynthia more in the last four or 5 years, whatever it is, about just starting. And then what happens when we simplify things, when we just get the basic building blocks. So that's that. So anyway, so once I realized that the whole entire scale of the emotional harmonics are in the eye, I realized when I was taught about the scale of emotions that there was enthusiasm, pain, anger, fear, grief, apathy, and consciousness. John Ray taught me that. There was one octave. If somebody came in with a dark brown eye, he would say they're level 7, which means unconscious. So the people he said that to walk around, I'm level 7. He did that. And I said, no, get over, no. Because I'd been with Eastern masters who had dark brown eyes who were cosmic. How many? So no, you can't do it. I've been with Native Americans who are cosmic. They weren't thuddy. I was the thuddy one in their presence. How many? No, and I got bright, you know, Scandinavian eyes. Anyone? Hello. So, you know, I knew that wasn't it. But once I realized, oh, there's a whole spiraling octave of ever expanding light in the fiber structure of our eyes. Now, are you starting to go, oh, so I started through reading eyes to be able to see the strengths returning. And I'm going to add, once somebody plays 125%, once somebody votes victory, once somebody sees perfection, once somebody, I love, I touch, I breathe, I stay, I feel. Those are what I bring to the table that's different maybe than some other things. So we're not just going allopathic. Take this for this challenge. Take this for that challenge. Adjust your back if you have this pain. Adjust you all the way across the board. I realize that the moment I recommit to playing 125%, I choose to make this fun and easy. I am my own permanent victory in the light. And then when I would read eyes, I would start giving the decrees. And when the individual people would get done with a 50-minute bio-optic holography session, and I'd say, go back over, watch the video, start to finish. This is long before Zoom, by the way. We had it figured out how to do this. And then go back over, watch it all the way through, and then go back over with a pause button, a pen, and a journal, and write down every decree, prayer, affirmation, and new agreement you agree with. Then write it down in print as exact and specific as you can, and then feed yourself those statements until they're fact in you. Now, what I did in nutrition is just lubricate and move along the victory of light. Another thing I found out, all my herbalists that I became a master herbalist, and they were all from Utah, or what I called back then Utah. and I wasn't too up on religions. And so they all had large families. I would have said Catholic because I'm from the Midwest, and we had folks that came from Chicago to our Indian Lake to Wajak, Michigan, and they all had like 7, 12, 9 kids, and they were all Catholics. So I figured maybe, it was a Catholic. No, it was probably they had more kids or Mormons. Mormon. And I didn't know what that was. I and it's not part of my particular path, but what they said, if a man or woman is low in faith, feed them herbs. And I found that was true. Again, how many know if you're putting nutrients, oils, enzymes, minerals that are biologically active, you're potentially raising the frequency, but still, I'd say, keep your butt still. All right, so now, I'm sorry, I recommit. So what that means is take this for this problem. No. So how many did the allopathic take this supplement for this challenge? It's big, yes or no? It's really big. Oh, you got hemorrhoids, do B6 bioflavonoids and bioflavonoids, hemorrhoids, and white oak bark. And you can get rid of, but what's the cause? Pushing, not letting. How about edema, holding water? Well, you do water pills, you do potassium or potassium orotate or kidney bladder support herbs or whatever. Oh yeah, that'll work. But why is it there? What's the cause? How many are starting to go, what's the cause? Why would it? Water is feeling. And so I'm going to get, how many have ever held water? I mean, you had something go, puffy, whatever. I love the hands when they go up on that. That was Juliana going, hello. Yes. And again, if something was going on, most like the person is feeling water. How many have ever noticed dry skin? Why is it dry? Because I don't like what I'm feeling. Well, I have put cream on it. You didn't change the cause. How many now are going, oh, note to self. What's returning? Note to self. What do I choose? Not what do I hate? What do I choose? Not what do I... I'm going to get it. How many have eaten food that you know is good for you, aware of other food being bad for you, ate the bad food and got sick? And before that, you never got sick. How many are so, me too, this is a big one. How many, oh my God, I wonder if there's something in that bread. Anyone? What would happen if I just blessed the crap literally out of the bread? Anyone, come on. Yo, bread. What? I love you. I bless you. I thank you. Come on. How many know what I'm talking about? How many going, well, I'm going to eat at my kid's house and, they serve pizza on Friday and, cheese, and dairy. And how about dairy air? How about just bless it? Anyone? All right. So now I'm going to keep going. So then I got the scale of emotions and how many thought, I talked to somebody today about this. How many have gone, oh man, I'm going backwards. I've got sadness going on. Anybody? Anyone? In the I Am discourses, they say all forward progression is permanent. I get that's true. Because we're being tractor beamed. Scotty, beam us up. How many know God is Scott? There's Archangel Scotty. Yes, Captain Kirk. More power, more lithium crystals, whatever. How many get there's a lifting going on? That's why all this crap's out. Or say lifting into what? Transforming into what? So now the reason I can give this to you is because I got a book that explains all this. Mine is to show you, oh, you mean, and I'm gonna go through what I call our hug sheet to show you a way to apply your stuff. You can use our stuff, doesn't matter, but how to go, ooh, and then I'm going to suggest for all our oilers that you use oils at every step of the way. Which ones? Doesn't matter. How many are glad? Because the oil, yeah, I mean, sometimes get really clean on what the one that works. But how many know the oil? And I'm going to potentially time-wise talk about what's in the book, Marian Jager, my mentor, about how the oil sets aside, she says anesthetizes, sets aside doubt. And again, oils go right, there's no filter through the first cranial nerve. So how many like the idea, not just using oils periodically, use them all the freaking time. And which one? You have to get the right one. Get one. I mean, how many like that? And you'll know. I mean, if you have an oil you don't like, that's the one usually for things you don't want to do. I have, anyway, I'll just share this one story. So we're doing body electronics. Back when I first started doing this in the late 70s, John Ray would love to have exorcisms and reaction. And he was a battering ram for the light, and he liked the drama because it was dramatic. And I was a little puppy dog learning that. So I had my own class going on. And there was a woman, 6 people holding acupressure points, fingers get literally as hot as if they're on a hot wood stove. I am not exaggerating. And this one woman starts to talk in a weird voice, like there's some thought form I'm going to say instead of that's all I'm going to say, some thought form in there getting nasty. So I went in my office, in another room in my place. It was called Health Renaissance. I came back with wormwood oil, which is used to cast out thought forms, is what I'm going to call them. So she's way over here, like 1, 2, 3, 4 tables over here. It's about a 1,500 square foot room in this, where the class is. I'm coming through this door way on the other side of the room. I'm quiet because there's all these tables, maybe 8, 10, 12, 15 tables up. So I'm quietly opening the door, and I'm just walk in, and she's got this stuff going on, a lot of drama. Breathe, feel it, take charge, da, da, da. And I've got this bottle, haven't even uncapped it yet, of wormwood oil, to kind of want to go anoint her, kick the crap out of that thought form. And she sits there. Somebody's holding her STOs. People are on a solar plexus. People are on a heart point. She sits up and looks at me as I walk through the door. Anyone? Anyone? How many know the thought form is going, oh crap, he's coming with wormwood. Holy crap, Batman. Anyone? Anyone? And wormwood doesn't smell all that great. How many get that? It does not smell all that wonderful. And so when we're done. Now that never happens because I don't let it happen. How many like the idea that, oh, I recommit to 125%. God is the only presence power acting here. I choose to make this fun and easy. I love a touch of breathe. Do you get what that's doing? Is that raising our frequency back into life spiral, reversing the curse, reversing the mortal coil into immortal or eternal coil, life forever, ascension. Anybody having fun yet? How many are going, oh, this is possible? Yes, it is. I've known it since 3 years old. I remembered it since 3 years old. So I didn't make it up at 3. How many know it? Well, basically, I'm here to make the ascension. No, I came and said, we're going to make it this time. We're going to make it. My parents were like, go play. Good, go play. We don't have a clue what you're talking about. All right. So now, I'm serious. This is the deal. We're going to make it this time. Whatever that means. Some say, well, I've only been here once. Okay, go read the Bible again. You'll see that in there, hidden, there's people to repeat. Go just, demand truth and only truth come forward, not mine. How many like that? So now, what would happen if the whole resurrecting, raising, upgrading, according to what you believe to be true, is easy? Anyone? So what I started seeing in the eye was fiber change. All brown eyes turned blue. That throws the Aryan race right out the window. Underneath any color in the eye is blue. Underneath the blue is violet. The color of our pupil is not black, it's violet, like printer's ink. I'm watching the amount of blinking. It's really fun. The few that were in my view right there, we're going blink, 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 blink. How many get that? How many get the, oh my gosh, how many have been winking, blinking, and nod? Come on. It's anybody seeing that? Because you can see everybody, yes or no. How many are watching? What's going on? Why am I blinking? Because those are probably limitations going, I have no idea what this guy is talking about. Anyone? Anyone? All right. You don't have to know what I'm talking about other than whatever you're going to use, let it be, what am I returning to? And that's what I choose to help you do today in whatever form you're going to do it in. All right. So that's it. All right. So there's this thing called the rubber band effect. John Ray taught me this, my mentor in body electronics, etc. And he would say that mind is senior over the body. And, like I can't and I want, I don't know, and I'm confused and it's hard, cancel, 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 cancel. And then pretty soon the body stores those memories and plays them back. So let's say I'm going to be positive. The body will have the memory of you can't. That's too hard. You don't know. You're too confused. and it's playing back like a computer what we gave it or what we picked genetically. And how many know it didn't happen to you? How many know on some level you picked your mom and dad, or you're a victim? Which one? How many have been a victim? How many felt a little victimized by mom and dad? I did. Anybody else? Then how many like to go, I picked it? I can hear my oldest daughter through marriage, Mignon, going, and I didn't pick you, mom, either. I didn't pick you. In a reactive time, not always, just. So now do you get, okay, I picked all of this, and my greatest weakness shall be my greatest strength. So do you get our beloved, wonderful Mother Nature is got frequency specific energy. So sunlight comes through, grows the plant. So the plant is growing through photosynthesis, which is sunlight through photosynthesis into the blood and structure of the plant. So that's why essential oils are the blood of the plant. So there's sunlight with a specific frequency or job. All things have a purpose under heaven. How many are starting to get that? Even boo-boos have a purpose under heaven. Yes or no? How many are going, that boo-boo has no purpose whatsoever? I'll bet it does, because all things have a purpose under heaven. And how many have been hiding a weakness? This is really big. How many have been hiding a weakness? And inside of that weakness is a strength. Go, touch, love, breathe, stay, feel. Choose to make it easy. Vote victory, see perfection. So the rubber band effect is the mind is senior over the body. Eventually, the body becomes senior over the mind. So when I first got into nutrition, I just used nutrition, and it worked 50% of the time. And 50% of the time, it didn't really work. Not like I'd like it to. When I realized that the eye shows consciousness, and I started to work with consciousness, kind of gave up the nutrition, consciousness only worked 50% of the time. Because I choose to make this easy. The body was going, the memory in the body, genetic or experiential or both, was saying, no, you don't, you can't. Doubt would hit it. So then I started to realize the body-mind connection. I realized, I'm going to always use nutrition as a faith builder while we're giving the decrees of the resurrecting pattern. And we're not going to short circuit it. This is where the 7 steps in my word made flesh is all of them are essential. Take the charge up, step 1. Number 2, use body language to put it into words. Number 3, get specific, on and on and on. So now for me, where I'm in the saddle, I'm going to say back in the saddle, because I was willing to give it up. And then the universe goes, no, you're not going to give this up. I gave it to you. You're going to use it. So that's why I'm here today, to share with you that in my word made flesh, version 2, brand neutral, it means anyone can use the book now with anything they're doing for lymph, anything they're doing for kidney, anything they're doing for skin, anything they're doing for lungs. How many that's helpful, instead of pushing it into one small grouping of products? Always use what's best for you. But again, not everybody's in that particular company, or they're not available. We can't get them, out of stock, coming back soon. 6 months later, coming back soon, coming back soon. And again, this is where the truth gets to happen to everybody across the architecture of human consciousness. How many like to be able to go to your spice cabinet and get a remedy that works for you? How many like to get good quality spices, by the way? Hello. How many have got some that are 48 years old in there? Shake some out. It's like, they ain't got no color. It ain't got no color. Ain't got no smell. Ain't got no life. You can throw that one out. How many get that? You don't need to hoard all that stuff. Just get rid of it. Okay. So now next one. So what I noticed is, as people started moving up scale, all races, all nationalities, their fibers started getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Everybody, their pupil will get usually smaller and smaller. Every race, nationality, well, their eye will get lighter. You can't compare a blue eye to a brown eye and say anything about it. You can only compare that eye to itself. Now, why did this system work so well? Because my makeup, I tested the nutrition. I made sure it was high frequency. Got it. We were doing things like body electronics to dissolve memories, relive, relove, and replace and restore. I realized when I was reading eyes to not read what's wrong and name what's wrong. I would ask, is this returning for you? And it would return quickly. Then I started to realize, oh, our greatest weakness shall be our greatest strength. Let the weak man say, I am strong, our laws. That's when I came out of the closet with scripture. How many of you used to be a closet scripture people? I did. Because the new thought and the new age and the cosmic people, they were like, ah, it sounds like religion. Then quantum physics came out and it was like, oh, this is quantum physics. Scripture is quantum physics, or quantum physics is scripture. They're all law, divine law. So I'm letting you know I used to be a closet scripture person and I have come out of the closet. I'm just reporting the news. It's a 12-step program. You can join it later. All right. So now let's keep going. So now if I, with my people, they come to a class with me, they got to play 125. This is going on for decades. You're going to have to, if you're going to be there. And Victoria, will you come on right now? I believe this is the perfect time. So can you first share your background in health stuff from way back?
Yes, I started in 1977. No, what? Let's go back. 69 with Dr. Christopher. I was the only female in his class, and I asked too many questions, so I annoyed him. But I kept asking questions. Then I moved on to marriage and when I was still very involved in herbs and Dr. Bernard Jensen as well, very involved in everything that Mother Nature was teaching me. Then I had a beautiful baby girl. She ended up in an emergency room with a lacerated tongue. She required stitches. It was Father's Day. The surgeon told the interns, knock her out. And as soon as she's asleep, call me. I'm 5 minutes away from the hospital. I'm celebrating with my family, so knock her out, I'll come. So we waited. 2 hours later, the surgeon came to the hospital and my daughter was still screaming. And the interns were giving her inoculations to put her out, not inoculations, but drugs to put her out. She didn't go out. During the surgery, she swallowed a tube. 3 weeks later, she was jaundice. Her eyes were yellow, in serious condition. We had no clue what was wrong with her. And like I do, I always find my answers in prayer. So I went to my knees and God said, colon therapy. I want you to learn how to do colon therapy, save her life. So I flew to Chicago. I trained with Dr. Robert Wood. He was 91 when he taught me. He was colleagues with Henry Lindlar and Harvey Kellogg, where they studied and did all the wonderful old therapies of water hydrotherapies, herbal remedies, nature and sunshine, and breathing outside in the sanitariums. It was a beautiful experience. And when I walked in to meet this old man, I was astounded. 91, and he was straight and glorious and eyes blazing blue. Tremendous teacher who taught me how valuable I was shocked. You want me to clean bowels? Okay, God. And I found that our colon is a center of light and love and joy. And I started working with reflexology and colon therapy and hydrotherapies. 3 months later, my little girl passed a rubber tube that was stuck between her ileocecum and the ileocecal valve and the cecum. And all those poisons were flooding through her system. And we were able to save her life with hydrotherapies and natural therapies. So I continued to work with points. I continued to work with herbs. I continued to work with points and training and eyes and all those other wonderful things. And then I met Robert Tennyson Stevens and Helena Stevens. And I learned about a streamlined function through bio-optic holography. I did what they called body electronics back then. And I learned of all these fasting series. I was doing wheatgrass and implants for a number of my clients, and just really in the thicket of the natural therapies. And yet when I went to body electronics the first time, months and months and months of working to get some change in my iris, in one BE session, I was able to see physical changes and reconnect my body in areas I had been working for years with all of the modalities. And yet with one system, I was able to reconnect in my own life, in my own body, in my own being, things I was unable to touch until that point. So then, long history, longer. Now I'm involved with the bio-optics, the facilitations, the things that I worked all these years in doing, modalities of let's fix this and let's fix this, with what I'm learning, especially with the new version of My Word Made Flesh. The 7 steps beautifully illustrate and give me an ability to touch with love each step. I work with the military and returned veterans and post-traumatic stress. I work with people in Utah who are going through faith crisis. I work with many people who are going through our lives, like all of us are, and the modalities of love are within the 7 steps. And the simplification of My Word Made Flesh says it all. My word made flesh, what I speak, I become. Brand neutral. Is my heart neutral? Can I love all people, all modalities, all situations, and go for loving just where they are and facilitate making it easy? 7 steps. I love our new book. I love all the process we've gone through to get here. I really feel that, you know, I'm 70 years old. So I have come full circle from Jensen, Christopher, Robert A. Wood, all these wonderful people. And now Bob has given me a streamlined laser beam ability to facilitate with love. And the person I'm facilitating gets to choose. So for me, what a joy to be in this time. Old for me means opulent, loving, and divine. I'm brand new, working brand new, going forward with all these modalities in me, loving you as we walk forward together, period.
Man, that's rock and roll. Well, that'll be it for tonight, everyone. Thank you very much. How many of you got lifted? Anyone? How many felt like you were receiving a colonic or 700 all at the same time? That was awesome. That was awesome. And I'll come back with a little bit more question, and same with Cynthia as we go about, for me, and my pattern is very similar. So I can just say that. Only what I'm doing is I'm sponsored. I really get that. So it's not my little self doing any of this. We're going, oh, and then I get this nugget. Oh, and then I get this nugget. And then if you can imagine when I went like body electronics, everybody goes, oh, I got to do body electronics. You're doing it. This is non-physical point holding. We get the same amount of results in what we're doing right now as what we would, I still recommend BE, body electronics. We call it meta body electronics. It's profound. It's fastest way to clear the decks of things we wouldn't even know. And you don't have to wait. You can do it now. I love, I touch, I breathe, this day I feel, that kind of stuff. All right. So now I'm going to, let's do this. I'm going to show you 2 things. Yep. Make this as, not really that important to see it. It's in My Word Made Flesh, and this is the new version. So the reason I'm going to, and again, this is 1976 is when Marion taught me this, Marion Jager, my mentor. So, and what I'm asking you to do is realize that I wrote the first version of it, and then I got in myself what I was doing with oils in some situations. I was using the oil to get rid of something like pain instead of restore something. And the minute I went to what am I restoring? I restore my left shoulder, let's say. I restore my blessing on my mom's side, my feminine lineage's blessings. A year and a half's worth of pain let go in 5 minutes. 5 minutes with me just going, so, and it's in the book. It's already, I wrote all this already. Like the pain or the body signal is there to get us to change something or apply or restore or accept a blessing. So, and the reason I want to give you some of this up to number 22 is because I'm inviting everybody to walk around with an oil, and it's not just, put it on, smell it. And the reason I'm going to say smell it, not just from the bottle, put it on your body so it meets your frequency and your oils in your body. That way it's already merged and agreed and partnered with your frequency. And then when you smell it, while you're upgrading, you're giving your decrees, whatever, it sets aside, and I'll read this now. Essential oil is the essence of the marriage of the earth and the sun through photosynthesis. The human body is made up of many bodies, not just physical. How many can feel that we're we're much bigger than our little temple walking around? Thought forms attach at different parts of the body. That's what we're dealing. If you got a knee issue, there's a thought form there. Thought forms have short-circuited our best efforts. Oils protect from all kinds of friction. What? How many get, oh, that's what oils do? Yes or no? You've got friction, put a little bit of oil in there. How many get, oh? And it's so restorative, not getting rid of friction. It's restoring harmony. That's another way to say it. Oils keep the parts from rubbing against each other. Now think about thought forms that are in conflict with each other, or think about a positive and a negative. When you put an oil in there, you've already restored from friction to ease. And then the barriers, doors, or chakras have 7 major openings, which connect to the endocrine system. So this is going to relate to our divine electronics. Chakras are transformers like electricity. And I really mean we are an electrical being. Body electronics, those that have ever done it know how electrical the body is. When our fingers get literally as hot as if they're on a hot wood stove, like if I'm holding a pineal point on the toe and that fires off, it's like, whoo, ooh, 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 ooh. And I'm not joking. I mean, I have big boys crying, big boys bawling because there's so much electricity coming out. And then when they eventually meet it with love, my hands are Christ's hands, whatever. And all of a sudden it becomes just love. How many realize that's what we're doing? We're speeding up to the velocity of love. And I ain't joking about what I just did. That's real. All right. So chakras are transformers like electricity. Chakras, or what Marianne called the gate of feelings, are the only port of entry or exit of our thought forms. There's many micro chakras, etc. Reactive patterns make prison doors of our chakras. I'm going to say it again. Reactive patterns make prison doors of our chakras. So if I'm going into natural health using something to get rid of a block instead of restore ease, do you see how I'm a breech birth in that situation? Not wrong, just not as effective as I could be. So resentment, jealousy, anger, fear, guilt, blame, shame, lust, or whatever are thought forms. The most sainted of us have hidden prides, pleasures, fears, and thought forms to redeem, or what she would say, trade in to good, what I'm going to say, God energy. We require the blocks taken out. I'm going to say transformed, because we're not going to take them out. We're going to change them. Their energy package, we're going to transform them. And our good energy redeemed. How many like the idea of redeeming your whole being? Redeeming your divine self. That's what this is about. And again, this is so fast once you understand you're here to redeem, unlocked and freely expressed. We have created these blocks, therefore we can transform them. Remember when I talked about that young man that had the radii solaris and acquired mental speech and couldn't spell dyslexia, nor could I, couldn't spell it, went back to a memory. What he did is he loved the memory that was showing up in his eye, but with some help, and forgave his father, and that pattern that was genetic dissolved, and meant that the fibrils, which are part of the neurological activity of his body, the eyes develop right out of the brain. It's called a brain cup. Now he is acquired mental speech. I mean, his dyslexia dissolved. How many like that his dyslexia became, he didn't heal dyslexia. He began to express at a brand new level with confidence and courage. And so if we've created the blocks, we can transform them. We can go downscale, we can go upscale. Oils have reversed old thought forms, patterns, and habits of thought, allowing us to upgrade the pattern into our highest choices. Oils polarize like a negative vortex, counterclockwise, mortal coil. They polarize, but it does a hydrogen flip. It goes from counterclockwise to clockwise. It doesn't stop the spin and start the spin, it flips it. So how many like going from fear to faith? So imagine using an oil to restore your faith instead of fight fear. Marion would say wintergreen is, if you have fear, use wintergreen. It doesn't fight the fear, it spins it into courage and faith and trust and security. So oils polarize or reverse the vortex of thought forms and physical conditions from negative to positive polarity. Like a negative whirlwind or whirlpool, they flip into our life-giving spin when we add our decrees. So this is where the decrees are senior to anything else. I'll go on from there. Then 18, the oils help the thought form reverse the counterclockwise spin into life-giving clockwise vortex as we reclaim, and this is what's important, as we reclaim our newly qualified energy and creativity with love. Oils are volatile, which means they work in all the bodies. So they work in the unseen. How many know oils always lift up? Flames always burn up. How many know you put your nose under, or put the bottle under your nose, it's going to come up into your nose. That's the oil is raising. It's etherealizing. Jesus taught the use of oils to the disciples, not the masses. And go look through scripture. The amount of essential oil in scripture is phenomenal. The influence of odors upon the finer bodies has been a guarded temple secret down through the ages. And how many know, like if you're around garlic, how many know that garlic is an anti-vermifuge, it'll pull parasites out, but it's also will attract parasites. So some of the cultures that use a lot of garlic, are they real loving? Anyone? No. How many have ever been down at a particular group of people that use a lot of garlic? They're kind of bitchy. Anyone? Come on, I'm not saying garlic's wrong, just maybe there's a time and place for it. But if it's going to attract thought forms or parasitic type thoughts or parasites, use it. And then I've done body electronics with people, and many people hadn't done, used to eat a lot of garlic, haven't had it for years. That will come back out of their body. The whole room will fill with the smell of garlic, and they haven't eaten garlic in 6 years. How many are excited now? It acts like a drug. It sedates. All right, number 22, I'll end here for now. Essential oils are anesthetizers to the intellect, where doubt can live, which can be a barrier to belief. So that's my little, like, whatever you're doing, use essential oils. How many get, just, if you're giving your decree, bring an oil in. Just how many like the idea? It's going to, use it like a lubricant, use it like a delivery system. It's really cool. All right, so that's that. So now, to watch my time. Oh my gosh, I can do this. Choose to make it fun and easy. Okay. Now I'm taking you now into the inner sanctum of mastery systems. Sounded cool, didn't it? But you're on here, buddy. So, and I will talk to both of my cameo ladies again. I've only spoken to one so far, about when they do this. And maybe I'll go back to you, Victoria, since can you jump back on for a minute? So when you did classes with us back in 87, 8, 90s, whatever, did you jump into some of the nutrition that we had at that point?
All of it.
Okay.
Yes, I did. And for me, what I was taking in my personal life, this system, mastery system simplified my system so easy. It was a bam, 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 done. Bam, bam. And I had been taking it all. Yeah. And when I did my initial sheets, and the next time I came back for my next BE session, oh my gosh, the quantum and the simplification and the ease of which I took the minerals and the supplements. And oh, thank you for the beautiful streamlined way that I took something so complicated and it became so simple. Still is.
Awesome. Yes, I'm with you. And it's even, more better now because we really,
more better.
now I use tinctures a lot because anyway, I'll do it that way. And then Cynthia, will you come on and share some of your history? And then when you jumped into this program, what happened for you?
Yes, I started my journey in an allopathic fashion 40 years ago in nursing school. And the poster child, my allopathic nursing school taught, take this for this. There were no nutrition classes. There was nothing about eating anything good or bad for you or anything like that. But when this happens, take this drug. I spent hours, invested hours memorizing drug cards. What is the drug? What does it do? What is the drug? What, over and over and over, nothing on nutrition. And for years, that's the way I operated. As time went on, 10 years ago, I started my journey with my essential oil company. And again, based on my training and the way I raised my family, I used my oils in an allopathic measure. I no longer went to the drug for the thing. I went to my oil for the thing. Again, all I did was change the vehicle, not my mindset, not anything about what went on. When I came to Mastery Systems several years ago, everything changed because this was the first time I was introduced to anything that was accompanied by a decree. And honestly, when I first started decreeing, I decreed allopathically to get rid of this. Yes, laugh all day because it's funny just going back to it because that was what it is. Okay, so now I've got a tincture to do this, to get rid of this. I'm going to say this decree so I can get rid of, okay, I'm going to say my abundance decree to get rid of lack. No. And so as I have learned and experienced and gone through and let the weak man say, I am strong. This is not about right or wrong. It's not about fixing things. It's about restoring who I am and remembering who I am. When I jumped into my tinctures with my decrees and then new thought, oh, I can use my oils with decrees. I can use my food with decrees. Everything changed for me. And now I decree as fact. It's not to get something or to move something or to change something. It's fact. And when I can add a tincture, a supplement, an oil, a food group, whatever it is, to my decree, I know I am facilitating me in my highest choice. I am physically where I desire to be, and I am consciously where I desire to be by marrying the two together. And yes, decrees are everything for me, and it makes everything so simple for me now. Period.
Thank you, dear. That's really cool. That's really, as I scratch my head, hello. All right. So what everybody that signed up for this, they get a copy of this and it's been sent autoresponder if you sign up later, whatever. And what I'm choosing to share with you is the reason why I don't even like that idea. This works. And in my experience, this works. I mean, so much. I don't like to compete with anything else. So that's not my point. Like the company that you're with, Cynthia, when you added a few things, you didn't change, your company that you work with and all that. Yes, in essential oil.
Correct.
When you added our minerals, our what we call bio liquid light, what happened?
In my eye photos, I saw nerve fluid returning. I saw all kinds of changes in my eye photos with my before and after. I had changes in my digestive system. I had changes in my consciousness. Everything upgraded for me. And
Beautiful.
Yes.
So what I'm going to share with you is a simplified version. How many like the idea of, I studied with Hannah Kroger. And at first, my first mentor was Dr. Michael Dickens. Michael Dickens was her protege. And I trained with him first. And he goes, I'm going to tell you the end result of the best of the best. She'll tell you 50 things. I'm going to tell you the one thing that she uses every time. That I call that grace. Where I didn't, my first shop, health shop was called Back to Eden. I had record stores before that. And Back to Eden, to honor Jethro Kloss, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, there would be like this body symptom and then 75 herbs. And then this body symptom, 75 herbs. I mean, it's like, yeah. So for me, what I finally got with Dr. Michael Dixon's was this herb for that, this herb for that, this herb for that. That's what I'm going to share with you now, is that there's whatever you use, and I'll show you how to use it either way. Like assimilation challenges, it doesn't say that, but assimilation, digestion, assimilation. How many know that's, again, I receive with ease. So you can look at that. I receive with these. You can go through and find oils that help you do that, all that kind of stuff. So then there's things, if you have ice cold drinks, that's not good for assimilation, not good for teeth. Hot drink, same. So no steaming hot or ice cold drinks. HCl, if you have gas, half an hour after you eat. But whatever, if you do an HCl, that's not something we produce because it's so easy to get. You add your essential oil. Then yeah, you can take it, you can taste it, you can peppermint, whatever you're going to use, but smell whatever it is, because gustatory, I taste oils like peppermint a lot. I hand out peppermint in every class. So everybody, it's called the oil of gladness in Marian's, what she found in scripture, peppermint oil of gladness. But I use it because it helps shift people's energy and get them fully present. That's that. So a food source enzyme. Now, if somebody's really going to move up scale, I'm going to have them triple up the enzymes they take. Why? Because I restore my life. I choose life. I receive with ease. I choose life. So Thrive Alive, we have our own version of this called Thrive Alive Enzyme. And then with everyone, you're going to see, I added just before we started, plus essential oils, that. Watch your food combining. Next thing, pooper. It's called Challenges Letting Go, or also known as the pooper. It was much better than me going, how is your bowel habits? And people would say, I have a habit of having a bowel. Thank you very much. No. And some people would say, well, how often do you go? I'm regular. And then when I finally figure out by getting specific, it was once a week. It should be once for every meal. So if somebody's 50 years old and they've been having one movement a day and they're 50 years old, they go 365 times 52, whatever thousands that is, that's how many bowel movements they owe themselves. How many choose that? And why are they not going? Because they're not drinking enough water. Why aren't they drinking enough water? Because they don't like feeling. How many haven't liked feeling? Anyone? Everyone's, I love what I feel. So that's that. So next, skin. I set my healthy boundaries. This interaction with others, this is skin. So how many how many have been shutting down from the harshness or judgment of the world? I love what I feel. I set my healthy boundaries. I teach my world how to love me, and then skin brushing. Next, apathy, I can't. Now there's some that I use in every program. One of these is I can. So I can't, and it's hard. I can with ease and grace, mini tramp, exercise, breathing, all that stuff. But when we have a tincture called I can, I use it in for everyone. I start them maybe just 28 days. Each 2-ounce bottle is about 28 days. Then deep unwanted thoughts. I have my clear thoughts, usually parasitic type condition, parasitic type thoughts. How many of you had thought forms bug you? Anyone? How many have ever woken up in the middle of the night, usually around 3, when the parasites get active and they start moving around in there, and you go, oh, I can't, I got that. Well, any parasite in the body is a parasitic type thought. So you have a thing called thought freedom, black walnut and wormwood, artemisia, same. So this is where I recommend, thought freedom, or para-free if you're in the living, or whatever. Find a way to get a parasite cleanse. And again, you can go to the health food store, go online, Amazon, find something, and add oils. Next one, fear and doubt. This is big. This may be every single program I have this, because if there's the pupillary frill is dark, that's assimilation ring, pupillary frill, neurasthenic ring it's called. It's stomach lining and central nervous system. And I show my slides to our team, and I go back to the beginning of when there were slides, and I show all this bright orange. And now when we're taking our current pictures, maybe 1 in 50 have a bright orange assimilation ring, and the rest are gray or black, which means the petrochemicals have come in and produced doubt for that person. So do you get ingesting oils? We had one person come to one of the classes here for bio-optic holography, and his eye photo had a lot of orange. And I asked him, how much, many people in Young Living would know who he is. I said, tell me what you take in, ingest every day on oils. And his amount of essential oils he took in was dissolving a lot of that petrochemical. How many of you now go, all right, just put a little twist of something in to do it, a drip? No, just kidding. But anyway, so we have a thing called I Trust tincture, and it's for doubt, potentially candida, mold, fungus, mildew, that kind of stuff. The scripture says mildew is doubt. So how many have doubted your direct connection with your creator? How many have? That I will show whether you're hooked up or not in belief. So I trust my love. I love my trust. I receive with grace and ease. And you can find all this in the book, by the way. The next one is highs and lows, emotional highs and lows, sugar craving, that kind of stuff. I use the same thing in two places: sovereign creative stability. I trust is on every program. I can is on every program that I do to start with. And sovereign creative stability is like forever, because it's Gotu Kola and Fo Ti. And it had done Gotu Kola for years and years. And around 3 o'clock every day, I would have, when I was teaching, I taught 12 hours a day. At about 3 o'clock, I would get hot and flush, and my heart was going do, 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 do. And I thought I was going to die in front of class I didn't tell anybody, but I had a adrenal, whatever. So what I did in my research is I added Fo Ti to Gotu Kola, 2 Chinese herbs, and it was over. I was doing pantothenic acid, licorice root, all the other stuff I knew for adrenals. But the minute I added Gotu Kola and Fo Ti, which is what's in sovereign creative stability, my highs and lows, adrenals, pancreas, no, it didn't happen again. How many get from every day to it didn't happen again? All right, so, and I'm going to use sovereign creative stability one more time. So letting go, kidney, bladder, like KB, whatever, we have our own version of that. I forgive. Kidneys and bladder are all about I forgive and I thrive. Imagine using essential oils with all these and the decrees in the book. Next, authority, authorship, thyroid. Now, the reason I don't have a particular thing, yes, seaweed, kelp dulse, all that kind of stuff, is because I don't usually tend to need it once I get the next one, which is resentment. I won't, which is gallbladder, liver. When that person begins to forgive, they reclaim their will. When they reclaim their will, then we get thyroid functioning. How many get? So contracted thyroid is resentment. So when we handle resentment, now all of a sudden the function of the metabolism of thyroid, body function, and the metabolism for teeth and fingernails, which is parathyroid, begin to function. Can you see what I've done is taken a whole shelf of different supplements, and we start to resurrect versus manage contractions. So that's why this whole thing is so cool. How many get? I reclaim my will. Anyone? I willingly forgive is the statement. How many of you begrudgingly forgive? I'll forgive them. I get you, prick. Okay, I forgive you're a prick. You're always a prick. You're going to be a prick forever. So I get, no, that's not forgiveness. No, I've tried it for years. It does not work. No. So that's what we use I will for. All right. Next, breath challenges. I'm going to use something other than what I'm not, they didn't make something because there's other things out there, including essential oils that are already airborne. I mean, it could be mullein, could be, and again, you can use whatever you're using, just add this. And I tend to not need to support lungs. Once somebody starts, I give myself permission to thrive. Medulla is the brain center to the lungs. I play 125%. That's the fastest way to get our lungs working. So can you see, we're already resolving it by moving forward. The 15 issues are handled. I recommit to playing 125. I vote victory. I see perfection, that kind of stuff. So can you tell I'm enthusiastic about this? All right. confusion and armoring. So heavy metals tend to bond with chemicals. That's when orange shows up in the eye. And again, that's where all this stuff that we've used in petrochemicals. So I used to have, let's see, metal be gone and Chemtox. And then, the FDA said you can't do that. And change it again, you can't do that. You change it again, you can't do that. And finally, my business partner at the time back in Kalamazoo, Michigan, finally sat down with the guy and said, are you trying to put us out of business? Because you're making us change the label every single month. And the cost for that is extreme. And he finally left us alone. How many get, so with this, you don't have to do any of that with this program. How many love? I am secure in my clarity. That does the whole thing. Heavy metals are armoring. Confusion is protecting our clarity until we're okay to shine. I'm secure in my clarity. That's when I found that one is when people popped right through to their clear being. How many going, no, too clear self? All right. His or her upgrade. So how many of you are hers? And how many of you are his's? And how many of you are identifying with, no, just kidding. I think that whole thing is Bos Niños. Yeah. Anyone? And by the way, that all this gender stuff going on is too much estrogen in the animals. That's what's going on. So let's not change their anatomy. Got it? How many get that? Let's just get them on a healthy, clean diet and see what happens. And there's maybe some people come in and they're actually feminine and masculine body, whatever. But I suggest we clean up our life force first in our food chain. So we've got a thing called Her Creative Fire version 4. It's brand new. It's just being made right now. And His Creative Fire. And it's all the, there's only one change for her, between hers and his. Dong Quai, which is also, oh man, I can, well, anyway, Dong Quai is in Her Creative Fire and ginseng is in his. If women do ginseng, they grow facial hairs and other place hairs like chest and whatever. Adele Davis had a beard. Come on now. And she did a lot of ginseng. I thought I'd share that. She had a mustache and a beard, not a full beard, but how many are going, no, I don't think so Dong Quai is the female counterpart to ginseng. So, and if anybody's done this stuff rocks, I do it all the time. I love it. And I take hers every now and then when I'm choosing to balance out. Not really. I don't do that. All right. Next one. Life Force. Every program has got bio-liquid light. It's electrolytes, chelated colloidal minerals taken from the ancient seabed. It's actually plant life. It's not from the Great Salt Lake ionic because they're not bound to plants. So I've used this for 50 years, bio-liquid light concentrate. And so it's written down how you do it. Everyone starts with that. I mean, first enzymes rule and then minerals rule. And after that, the rest of the stuff. Enzymes first, then minerals. And then Life Force, zinc, yeah, I may use it at little spots and whatever, but I always make sure more magnesium than calcium. That's what we call ours mag-cal. And some people say mad-cal. No, mag-cal. Magnesium, more mag than cal. All right, so that's it. And then concentration and sleep challenges. So the reason I use Gotukola and Fo-T is they feed intuition. They feed higher brain function. They're not stimulants. So they're nutritive. So how many of you, I mean, if anybody's hung out with me, my intuition is stellar. And I've been doing, Gotukola for 50 some years. And the reason I started, there's a thing called Fo-Ti Ting, which this guy that lived in supposedly 256 years old, and he ate only a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And he took this Fo-Ti Ting, which is Gotukola, Fo-Ti, and Meadowsweet. And I added the Meadowsweet in there and didn't do anything. So it was the Gotukola and Fo-Ti. So for me, that's why sovereign creative stability. And how many love the idea of connecting your thoughts and your genius with ease? And it's sovereign. How many have ever been like enough blood sugar where you're completely present? Anyone? How many have also felt creative, like intuitive creative, like you could write it down, you could write a book, whatever. And how many have felt stable instead of unstable? So the combination, the union of Gotukola and Fo-Ti create something that creates the person having a stable energy system. So I use it with everyone. Vision, where if you're going to use something for your eyesight, get in there. I love what I see. I see what I love, the Decrees of the Deal. You've got copies of this. Your book will go into it at much greater detail in My Word Made Flesh. And then vitamins, again, when you need them. I very seldom use vitamins. Why? Because they're good. I use vitamins myself sometimes. I mean, every now and then I take a multi and this and that. I've got something down. I take Bs every day because I do that. I take B12. I'm letting you know that. All right, so that's that. So I apologize if we've gone over, but I believe we still have most of us here. So whatever you're using, let's say you're using something for kidney. Now you know, okay, I can do a decree and add an oil. Yes, how many like it? Yes or no? If somebody's using an oil infused supplement, like many of us are, get the oils that are infused in it so you can smell them. The olfactory, first version, My Word Made Flesh, I wrote all this in there. I now, from personal experience, realize it's way more important than I wrote. That's where we're deepening it in version 2. Do you get, wow, all right, when I smell an oil with my consciousness claiming, like all 7 steps, can you imagine? Now that I'm thriving, while you're using abundance, let's say, now that I'm thriving, can you get what that does? We're not going, I need, like when Cynthia talked about, I'm using abundance to get rid of poverty or lack. And now let the oil carry you. And I'm going to add this in that I found this thing. I'd be sitting waiting to start a Zoom and I'd have oil on my hands. And I realized that I started to smell the oil and I just, for some reason, started to lift my nostrils and it changed where the oil went. So I do this thing where if I have, let's say, abundance on and I go, and I smell it from one nostril and I smell it from the other. If it's not the same, I go back and forth until my both my hemispheres are synced up because I smell the oil the same. Then I started to, it's weird, I know. I started to just lift open my nostril a little bit. I'm not going to flare for you, but I started opening up. And I mean, right away, I was all over it. I'm sharing some people, if they're using oils that are higher brain function, et cetera, they would open up, they go, oh my gosh, it would go right up to like third eye or higher brain or whatever. So one person used an oil and she opened up and goes, oh, it went right to my heart. And I'm going, she didn't do it right. And then I did Caraway. I've got Caraway over here. If you haven't read what Caraway does, Caraway is, wow. So I did Caraway, boom, I came right in. So I realized, oh, the oil goes to where it needs to go. So how many like the idea of opening up your schnozola? This is the pie hole. These are the inspiration holes, left, right, you got it. They're going to feed different aspects of your brain. So now you can supercharge your upgraded life. How many like it? Yes, with ease and grace. So what we just did for all the tinctures that we use, if you go, oh, I'd like to know about those, contact us, support@mastersystem.com. If you put together an order, we'll come up with a discount for you. We just got them. They're just we just rebuilt them. We've had some, but there's a small group of people are using them. And now we're going, all right, it's time for the planet to get these because I still use them on a daily basis. And I haven't found anything else to do in other companies that even come close. Again, I can, yes. Our minerals, again, they're the ones. How many have used I Trust? Anybody used I Trust? How many used our minerals? Yeah, they work. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to affirm that. They work. Anyone? Am I okay? Am I okay? Did they work? Yeah. Anyway, so just know that. All right, let's comments. What'd you get? Any questions? Whatever. Share time. Mic yourself and wave. Go ahead, Tammy.
Okay, so thanks very much. This was just fascinating. My first question is, do you do like speed calls so that you can, because I would just pick them all.
Well, here's what, and again, this is it. Yes, let me tell you about we've been so busy getting ready for aroma sharing, and our new book is going to be delivered on Monday. So we've been busy. So normally what I would have had figured out is you can call and get a 10-minute speed wrap. I mean, whatever. So we will, I mean, Cynthia's going, well, we're going to, I ain't laughing at it. I'm going, yeah, that's like for me, when people are getting ready for body electronics, metabody electronics, we do a little 15-minute, and I literally have like 15 to 20 questions, and I know exactly which one of these are best for you. So if anyone's interested in that, we will send you, and we had 100 and some sign up for tonight, so that's who we'll send it to. But I mean, that's the way I love it. And it's really, it is speed for me. I don't mean hurry. It's not a lot of facilitation or anything. It's just like, do you wake up in the middle of the night right around 3? Okay, got it. Do you grind your teeth? Got it. Are you tired throughout the day? Got it. I mean, I can ask you all kinds of questions to go click, 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 click. And those that are going, I'm not going to do that. Well, enzymes rule, whatever kind you're using, triple up on them, then minerals. And of all the minerals out there, I can only recommend ours, or the same company that makes ours, whatever, 72 trace elements taken from the ancient inland seabed. That's the only ones I can recommend because I know they work, and they work for 50 years. So does that help, Tammy? What else you got?
Well, I want to know if you ship to Canada. And my other thing is, I wish you had like a car wash where I could just go through and just add on whatever I need and come out shiny and brand new on the other end. So that's what I vote.
Hey, how many like you go through on a chair? Come on. And it's a colonic chair. That way Victoria knows.
Whatever.
I know. I used to, if you've ever seen a picture that I use sometimes, I've got this, our center is, it's under contract right now. The 2 lodges where on the same big property where I live, but not my property. My kids own them. Anyway, they're beautiful purple chairs, and I'm threatening to put a colonic unit or whatever and everything, just so somebody's going, well, it's time to let go because I got, anyway. I love your vision. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. If you come up with it, let me know and we'll do it. How many like being sprayed down with minerals and oils, and come on now, and whatever. So I believe, in my experience, the reason I'm sharing this is it's time that I can returns. And if all of you can just go, what happens now that I can is real in me? What happens now that I am is real in me? So what I'm using in the plant, the body-mind connection in the plant kingdom is, besides all the essential oils, is a way to get, and again, a tincture works differently than an oil. Tinctures, when I went from encapsulated herbs to tinctures, I got so many, I got so much more. Well, I mean, I can put it this way, that when we have a tincture, it doesn't have to go through digestion. It's already made, it's cold oil, it's ready to go. Take it, goes right in. When you have an herb, or what's called a herb, because there's an H in it, it has to go through digestion. So I mean, tinctures are not the easiest thing to create. And the tincture company that I used to work with, they don't retail, they just make stuff for us. They were so backed up that this is a while ago, that we get our raw material and the best awesome stuff. We make our own, we bottle our own tinctures. We blend them and make them and whatever, so that I can get them out and not have to wait literally 8 months. Can you imagine stocking up for 8 months? Anyway, so just know that's it. Any other questions, my dear? Okay, good. And how many are in for the car wash? All right, just checking. All right, any other comments or questions? Yes, Ariana. Where's that button? There you go.
I was just raising my hand.
Thank you, honey. Everyone, she just raised her hand. So you didn't know comment or question?
Just agreeing. Yeah, just agreeing.
Oh, good. Forgive me all. And I think we have someone, Brittany's here, who just was agreeing, and I called on her and she was just agreeing, but she got a major metamorphosis. So who knows? So it's all meant to be. Anyone else comment or question? Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Just to clarify, when you were talking about the oil with the nostril, are you over the bottle? Do you have the oil on your hand?
Oh, so what I do, yeah, it's a good question. So I take the oil. I'm going to go back to one of my favorites because I love doing this. So this is the gift I'm going to use right here, which is, anybody that's been with me in the last 45 Zooms, they know that's one of my favorites. So then I'm going to get it up on my fingertips, and then I'm going to smell. I just did this, so it's going to be fast, but one left nostril, and then right nostril. Now they're the same. Now, when I first did it tonight, took a little bit back and forth until it was the same. So it's already the same. So I'm hemisphere. And then if you will once you do that, you take one side and open it up a little bit, just lift it out, not over your head or anything like that. but open them both up. And how many can tell it? Elizabeth, yes or no? What happens? Mic yourself again.
Well, I didn't put an oil on, so I'm going to do that. I will.
Okay.
I mean, I've got Gary's light here and I could do that right now.
Do it, do it. Gary's light's one of my favorite. Go ahead, put it on,
so
rub it together, and everyone vote victory and see perfection and see Gary's light manifest across the planet. Okay.
woo, I'm getting
Yeah.
like right up here right now.
Yeah,
Wow,
right
I'm not
on.
even-
Yep,
oh.
yep.
Okay, so then go
now
one.
you smell one side and then pull in, exhale the other side. Is it the same?
Now it is.
Okay. Now, how many? It's so cool that when it isn't in the beginning, but you go back into some people 4 hours later, not yet. No, just kidding. That's not ever 4 hours. All right. So that now go just like to the closest to the back of your face and just open your nostril a little bit with the tips of your thumb. And what do you notice?
I feel lighter.
Good. Now say, I feel lighter.
I feel lighter.
Yeah. So now what do you notice in smell? Where does the smell go? Does it move to a different direction? Smell again, open it up. Open your nostrils up. When the nostril, it must be micro little acupressure points, acupuncture, meridians,
Yeah.
whatever. So then go ahead.
I feel like it goes, I feel like
How about my spirit goes in?
my spirit goes in.
Yeah.
I feel open.
Oh, good. So now notice, did it change though? Did you notice like when you opened up your nostril, did it change?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. I originally, like I shared with you, it's like, oh, if it doesn't go up your head, you made it wrong. And then it's like, I did caraway and it's like, all right, that was my error, right, wrong, good, bad. So anyway, does that help, dear?
Yes. And speaking of caraway, after I was listening to you on the call, I went and did caraway and then was going through the book, picking just like different, like, book, anus, all this other stuff. I was just picking the words all the way down, what parts of the body were in the decrees as opposed to, so I thought I'd just go through all, and I picked caraway and wow.
Yes.
It was like what you said, caraway, and it was like in a lot of, and the things that I picked needed caraway. And so, or, asked for caraway. So that was just awesome. So anyhow, thank you, Bob.
When Vaughn and I did the original version, and so she's going through why Gary used it and what he translated. And I mean, it wasn't just 3 or 4 things. It was like that long. Got it? And then the decrees, which, that's in version 1.
Yeah.
And I mean, I literally was like, what? Caraway? And think it's, God gave it to us as a spice, so to speak, way back. But think about it, the caraway. I mean, how? Anyway.
New appreciation.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else? And thank you all for staying on. Yes, Nicole.
So how different are the 2 books? Is it just the brand or is there other things that are different?
Say it again, dear. What's the what?
So I have
What's different about the 2 books? A lot in that, how do I put this? The first one is specific, a brand specific. When I was sharing the book and all the deep dives and all the other stuff, I started waking up to, wow, we need this. Wow, this has got it. So we put in a much deeper application to the version 2. Second of all, we have oils in there, but they're generic, meaning we don't name company. We didn't use blends at all because that would be specific to a company. And I just share people that I know really well, that I've known for years. When I shared with them what we did, I got communication from them. Thank you so much, because I might be with a different company, or I might be this or that. What it does is now, and for me, if I work with anybody over the phone or whatever, I don't need a particular company to get this to work. So I would much rather just go, I can use your spices. I can use, like if you have to get some kidney support, go to, Whole Foods and get the best one that they recommend and use the decrees. So now, whether it's a tincture, let's say, or let's say it's an herb, or if somebody's doing a mineral or whatever, what are you using it for? Then you go look up that portion of the body, or assimilation, digestion, elimination, or that aspect of the colon or whatever else, and then apply. Here's the question of why this may be there. Find that, oh, that's it. Engage how you created the situation, and then the decrees restore. So what it's done is it's gone from 1% of the population to the population. And it's a deeper dive in that. And our team can help you understand. Go ahead.
And we've
I
added
was
a
looking
couple
for you.
other, yes, I'm still here. We've added a couple other things too, Nicole. We've added a section on conscious language. We've added a section on decreeing and how to decree. We've added a section on how to use the 7 steps. We've added a section on essential oils and consciousness. There's quite a bit of information in it that's new that we've added in version 2.
And also quantum physics.
Yes.
Yep. So, and again, they're all both awesome. If somebody has one, do they need 2? No. Will they get 2? Yes. I mean, just because I'm just telling you that, you know, that's where we made it. Those that have one, we give them an offer that they can get it way below wholesale, so they can get it. So yes. And how many know it'd probably be good to have one everywhere? Hopefully we're going to be able to make it into an app so you can walk up and somebody's got, you know, left elbow. Do you have this going on in your life? Come on now. How many know if you're flying at the airport and you got a 2-hour layover, who's next? Okay, do you have to? All right, who's next? Come on. All right. Anything else, Nicole?
I just wanted to know how much I was going to be missing out if I didn't get the second book, but you said there's a deal for us. You have the first.
I recommend you do you have, if you have book 1, do me a favor and email support@masterysystem.com and we will help you. You know, you only have to buy 500 to get it. No, that's a joke. You don't have to do that, honey. I wouldn't even let anybody buy 500 right now because I only got 1,000 coming in. Nice. All right. Anyone else? Comments, questions? Yes. Wave so I
Hi.
can find you. Oh, good. Misty.
Yes. Hi, Bob. This is the first time we've talked. I'm Wendy's sister. So I'm so happy to have found you and been guided to you. I have a quick question. I had COVID last July and I lost my sense of smell and some of it's back. I'm thinking like maybe 40% of it's back. But then there's some.
Hold on. Well, first I'm going to show you wintergreen. So will you share the story, Cynthia? Oh, we're going to go till 4 this morning. Just kidding. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead. Cancel that.
Yes, I'll be very succinct. We got up one morning and my husband asked the question. He came in and he was having some things going on in his body and he got back in bed after he got up and did several oils and he had put peppermint all over. Got back in bed and wow, woke up and wow, peppermint much? And he said, oh, really? I can't smell it. It's like, oh, okay, well, we have something going on. So later that morning, just a few hours in a meeting, I spoke with Bob for a second. We talked about exactly what he had just shared earlier with wintergreen and fear. And I went back to restoring faith and those types of things. Gave my husband the bottle and gave him a decree with his faith. And he started putting on the oil, speaking the decree, faith returning. 30 minutes later, he can smell again. 30 minutes. And he just kept at it and kept at it and kept decreeing. So again, the marriage of the two together, the decrees and the oil together.
Wow.
Beautiful. So I highly recommend wintergreen.
And again, his belief was like, really, I can't even smell peppermint. How am I going to smell wintergreen?
And that's what he said. Yes.
And what happened for me is I lost my smell. And I just sat with wintergreen. I just sat with it. I mean, I don't remember how I did it, but I just sat, you know, and I mean, literally 10 minutes and I had all my senses back. So I'm recommending wintergreen. And if you can find it, hello, it's tricky.
Okay, wonderful. Glad to know that. Well, this is what happened to me. So I've started using essential oils, maybe not the best ones, but I was trying to kind of follow some of the things I saw on YouTube or whatever, this was months ago. And so I kind of tried to inhale some steam with some peppermint essential oil in it. And what happened was it actually turned into a parosmia then. and the parosmia is still there.
What is it?
Um,
What's parosmia?
That means that certain smells have a very distorted smell.
Well, that's a
And
lot of what, hold on. I'm not going to go into anything and what you're describing because I don't mess with it. And I'm very careful about it. But what I'm going to share with you is that's kind of the story of what COVID did. So I'm going to talk a little about COVID, and not against or for. Viruses are not alive. Viruses interact with our RNA or RNA and DNA or DNA. And if anybody, I mean, all the articles that have been sent to me about language programs are DNA, boom, boom, boom. So how many get that? And you said it perfectly. I'm going to kind of try. 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 You can't kind of try. Not wrong. That's the dysfunction. So how about I resurrect? So the decrees that are in my word made flesh are all built in conscious language decrees. They're language of manifested now. So what I'm suggesting everyone does is get the best you can find of everything. If you're going to use oils, get the purest you can find, period. How many get that? You just, use what you got in an emergency. If you're really going to do it, get the highest frequency. Always. That's why I got out of the oil industry way back in 76 when I had my first shop, is because I'd buy the best, but I could taste it. That meant that there's a co-natural, a synthetic, or a chemical in there. If you can taste it, it's probably not right. And therefore, most likely the peppermint could have had something in it that created. So here's what I recommend. If we're going to rise above, and I've called this a Babel virus for 50 years. So, I've called it the Babel virus. So yeah, I didn't even know what viruses were back then. I just called it the Babel virus. It's the Babel virus, whatever. So do you get, I am that I am, I can, I am, I will, I choose, I have, I love, I create, I enjoy, walk us upscale, and things like, according to your approach, God is the only presence and power acting here. Only love touches me. I play 125%. I choose all the things I described to get nutrition to work, jump in and do them. So Misty, what I'm inviting you to is, like, so far, I forgive what's happened. Take the charge off. That's step one. And then how about I give myself permission to be made new? That's step two. And then translate knows is inspiration. So I am re-inspired. I play 125%. So go to inspiration and then get clean oils. And I would never use peppermint and steam. Having worked at the A.M. Todd company in 68, which is the largest, tens of thousands of 55-gallon drums of peppermint or spearmint. Can you imagine? I couldn't even go in the building to pee for the first 3 days. Middle of winter, I had to work at the open door on a loading dock to get acclimated so I can even get my eyes to work in the building. So what I'm suggesting is maybe steam and peppermint up nose, not good idea. So you might forgive your nose and then move from there. So what else you got? Any other questions, comments?
One more question. Can you eat anything you want to?
Can I?
If you bless it?
Honey, it's according to your belief, dear. I remember a saint one time said, and they're vegetarian, if I sat down to an animal meal like pork or whatever, by the time I ate it, there would be no animal vibration in it. So, water, I love you, I bless you, thank you, food. So I'm recommending, if you had to ask the question, it won't work for you. If you're asking outside, it has to be an internal job. How many go, you mean my own faith? Yes. Cool. All right, Minnie.
Thank you,
Where's
Bob.
The button. So I just wanted to share the same thing happened to me. I lost my taste, I lost my smell, and I did my decrees and I did my wintergreen and raven. I alternated the both of those, and within less than 24 hours, I can breathe again, and through my nose, I can smell. and I can now taste. And yeah, so yeah, wintergreen,
and what?
Raven,
Raven. And in Raven, there, I believe both peppermint and wintergreen are in it.
correct.
And peppermint, one's a vasoconstrictor, one's a vasodilator. So they're great to go back and forth. And that's in Raven. Raven is something I use all night long. If I wake up and one nostril is stronger than the other, I'll just put, I've got a Raven ledge right here called my mustache. And I just literally, I hope I don't get on my skin usually because that's a little intense, or up my nose. But I put a bit right there and a little there. And that's one benefit for women who tend to grow a mustache. You can let it come out a little bit more because it's a great place to put Raven on your. All right, I'm just joking.
Oh my gosh, you're so thank you for the laughter.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're welcome. I love laughing myself. So how many love that you get? It's not we're getting rid of COVID. We're restoring sovereignty. We're rising above it. Anyone else? Kathy Joe. Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question on your minerals. Do you suggest taking those alone, like straight in water?
No,
What?
I recommend them in a bitter juice, not citrus. It's written on the thing we always share with people. And I mean, these are concentrates. So now they used to be a gallon. We used to receive 300 4-gallon cases a week. And we now, there they go, right? Look at that. That's one right there. Yep. Yeah, but you got it. That makes a gallon. It's concentrate. And to ship it, can you imagine, to Australia was like $9,000 million.
Yeah, yeah.
So now it fits in a flat rate box anyway. So what I recommend is when people do our minerals, 3/4 of a teaspoon equals an ounce.
Mhm.
And I recommend people start with 1 ounce and work up to 3 ounces, or 3/4 of a teaspoon, work up to that 3 times a day. And again, you wait till your body says yes, 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 yes. But what it does is it raises our electrical potential. And we use it for body electronics. The people that come in that don't do body electronics, haven't prepared, they run out of minerals. If they're in the middle of their BE session, it's like it goes thud. The people that are highly mineralized, and everybody that works with me becomes highly mineralized. When they come in, everybody's, and they move through so fast because they've got the carrier current. So if I take a gallon of distilled water and put an electrode on one side, electrode on the other, it will not pass a current because there's no electrolytic capability through the water.
Mhm.
If I put 1 drop of the minerals in, it'll carry the whole current. If I take a 8-ounce glass of raw sewage, we used to do this, and then pour an ounce, 1 or 2 ounces equivalent in there, and within a short period of time, all the raw sewage drops to the bottom and it's pure distilled water on top. That's what it's doing in our body.
Okay.
And one other thing, there's also, if you go shopping and you're on high levels, like preparing for body electronics or whatever, and you have a little bit of like, I'm going to pass a little gas, we call it green fog. In the beginning, there's a cleansing. So if you're at the beginning of the aisle, you turn the corner and go, I'm going to let a little bit out here. And then you walk down to the end of the aisle and somebody will come around and they go, and I'm not kidding. That is really real. And it does happen. And it's very exciting that we had somebody who, it's so funny, down in Deerfield Beach, Florida, Boca is where he worked for IBM. And his job was to negotiate billion-dollar contracts for IBM. And so he's in a meeting room. It's a smaller meeting room, like 12 people. And he's got people from overseas. And he was, he's running the show. And he just, I think I can let this out quiet. They had to evacuate the room. And luckily, nobody knew. I'll tell you one other thing. Just before I got engaged to Helena, we're doing the first class on, it was called Mastery back then, or Mastery of Words. And we're in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area. And we're at a Ramada, and what I call the 3 names of God, Ramada, right? And we get a knock on the door, and everybody's getting ready for body electronics. Everybody's drinking minerals. And we get a knock on the door, and my sound tech puts it on pause and walks back there. And he's a really gregarious guy, real open communication. He looks down and starts talking to me, going, our salesperson is here, and someone from the utilities would like to see if there's a gas leak in the room. Is it okay if they come in? And I'm going, I'm not looking at anybody. So this guy's got a sniffer, walks all the way, and the room goes, and then over here, which we're not in, and then back in. All of us, no one's looking at anyone because we know that what they're smelling is green fog. So up and down, everything. They check everything, the ceiling, all the way around, and go, well, no gas leak in here. And they close the door. We all lost it. I mean, they must have heard us. Anyway, so just come prepared if you do minerals, that it might be good to take a little walk if you're in a small room. Another thing, just so you know, this is real, is if you let a little bit out in your car with the windows up, you come back, I'm not making this up, 6 hours later, it will be in there. Now, whoever talked about the shower thing, Tammy, got it? We actually have Velcro sheets that you Velcro, because if the fog's big when you're getting ready for body electronics, the sheet can lift up and float off, and then you don't have any sheet on you. No sheet. So then what we can do is we can Velcro it. That's a joke. Anyway.
Okay.
And you check
Well-
your pants, and you just check for sheet in your sheets as well, because yes,
Okay, well,
from
and-
experience.
okay, thank you. Well, I'll use I'll put mineral essence and the KB and all of that in my Ninja Red. So that's why I was wondering if it.
Oh yeah,
it-
and Ninja Red's perfect. Ninja Red is my go-to. Now that I have
Yes.
Ninja Red, and I don't need much. I mean, it's a concentrate and it covers it right up. Before we'd have to go, well, is it, what's juice Ninja Red? We make it available. We make sure we have lots and lots of little 2 ounces, like hundreds and hundreds of during a body electronics, just because it works. So
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. And right now, because we moved up scale, like I choose to make it easy. How many know you're not going to have to fog a lot? Cynthia, did you fog a lot when you got ready for BE?
No, and I thought something was wrong with me because
Oh, yeah,
I was drinking
no.
a lot of minerals and I
And
wasn't
well-
fogging.
So Victoria, did you fog at all when you got ready back then? No, she's a colon therapist. She was a clean machine. Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, Are you planning to have are you still doing those classes?
I have not done a physical class in 3 years.
Well, yeah, COVID.
Yeah, right. Think about it. So, I mean, at some point we can, I love Meta BE, and, I'm going, all right, someday, it's one of my favorite things to do. We did have a Meta BE during the first round of COVID, right? The first year, whatever, we did have it. And we all said, everybody show up healthy and decree and rise above it. And we had perfect experience. So. and
Okay,
we'll do
thank
it
you.
again. So,
Okay,
yes, and let
thank
us
you.
know what you choose. If I could do anything, we do Meta. By the way, we did our sister class in Australia, in Mullumbimby, Australia. So they had to get up at dark 30, like 12 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock. And so we Zoomed back and forth, and then BE, and then we'd Zoom again and share. It was awesome. So we can have Meta BEs all over, as long as there's a trained person leading the group. We can do them all over. So, all right. Thank you, dear. Beautiful. Anyone else? Comments, questions? I thought we were going to have a little bit longer tonight just because of the topic. Cool. So anyone that goes, oh, I'd like to try some of that stuff, you can email us. We'll send you a price list is what we'll send. And then we'll do it if you reach a certain point, we'll give you a discount. What, Cynthia? What's that mean?
Or just contact me, Cynthia@masterysystems.com. I can walk you through it. So simple, and get your order put together and tell you what it's going to be.
And it's really, and Cynthia does our hugs, human upper guide anyway. And it's simple. Yes or no? It's so
Yes.
and it works. What I like is you do the end and triple up on your enzymes, whoever's you're doing, triple up. I choose my life. It's life. And minerals are electrical potential, carrier current. How many know I charge my battery of life? That's that. And then from the rest is I can what? And I trust what? And I forgive what? And do you get there all specific for what you're doing? There's a question, yes or no. There's a question, yeah. There's a question, yep. You get your program. It's very easy. And these work. These are real. How many have ever done supplements where you're going, I think it's working? Anyone? That's not what these are. If this doesn't immediately change me, then I don't use it. I don't use something that, my blood work says it could be better. I'm not quite. I choose to have like sovereign creative stability. How many have done sovereign creative stability? Could you tell? Heather Connor, could you tell? Mike yourself.
Yes. One that I really felt was very strong was the thought freedom. Because I was waking up in the middle of the night and just being wide awake, like what is going on? And as soon as I started taking that, and another thing that I noticed with before I took it was just negative thoughts, like just going through life and just these thoughts of horrible happenings would happen. It reminded me of like whenever, people are pregnant, they would always say, oh, that's just a mother thing. Well, it was like that all the time. Like I would see something and it just terrible thoughts would flash through my head. And I would just say, oh, well, I'm thinking of prevention. Like I'm thinking that this would happen so I can prevent it. But then I realized, it's like, no, I don't choose to have this in my head. And so taking the thought freedom helped me to lubricate my belief in my own sovereignty.
And me too. If I wake up in the middle of the night, not happening these days, but if I wake up in the middle of the night and can't go back to sleep, I'll walk right out, double shot of thought freedom, go back to bed and sleep like a baby. Wow. No, just kidding. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Anyone
You're
else?
welcome.
Well, let's take a moment and vote each other's victory. Yes. Vote our family's victory, our loved one's victory. Yes. Like create a charge so powerful that from where each of us are, the forces of the sacred fire, God's divine plan, move across from where you are in every direction across the face of the earth, dissolving all limitation, lack, struggle, purifying and raising and replacing without retribution until every direction comes back and touches you with a kiss of done. And how many know legions of angels are waiting and just doing it? So let's imagine permanent victory of light reigning supreme in, through, and around us in every cell of our body, in our family, our loved ones, our community, our associates, and then across the face of the earth, touching us again from every direction. How many light we're raising up to be the beacon of light we're designed to be? Yes, a sun presence. I'm a sun presence. Thank you all. Victoria, thanks for sharing tonight. Cynthia, thanks for sharing. Heather, thanks for sharing. All of you that had a question, comment, stuff, thank you. And thank you for voting victory. Yes, and if we can support you, we're here. And we just made a whole bunch of stuff before we had oh, you'd like, and I have to call Bob's and see if he would like it first. No, just kidding. But it was like that, especially on Sovereign Creative, because I use a lot of it. So, all right. Thank you all. Be well.